Hey, what's up guys? This video is for the second part of the midterm review for the fall semester 2021-2022, and we are going to start with question number 14. So question 14 says, which graph does not pass the vertical line test? First of all, vertical line is a line that is going up and down, so you guys need to check if the vertical line, when you put it on top of the graph, it only touches once. If it touches more than once, it is not a function, so it doesn't pass the vertical line test. And that's what we use the vertical line for. You guys can draw different vertical lines, and I'm going to do that in the graph. I'm going to zoom into the first one on the left side, so this one here. So notice that if I graph or draw a vertical line, it only touches once here, it only touches once. So every time I graph a vertical line, the vertical line touches the graph only one time. So that means this is a function, but we are looking for the one that is not a function, that doesn't pass the vertical line. So if you guys check the next one, you guys have vertical lines and it touches once. You guys do another vertical line, touches once. So no matter where I put that vertical line, it always touches once. So this graph is a function. So that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the one that is not a function. So if you guys look at the circle, if you guys draw anywhere a vertical line, you're actually going to cross the circle 2 times at 2 different points, right here and right here. So that means that this circle, this graph, it's a circle, is not a function. It doesn't pass the vertical line test. I'll put here not a function. So you guys know that when it touches more than once, any graph that touches more than once the vertical line is not a function. So that's the answer. For 15 and so on, you guys need to solve for the variable. So there's 3 big ideas in solving. Number 1, you always want to simplify both sides of the equation. You want to get rid of the fractions. Step number 2, you want to eliminate the constants that's on the same side of the variable. And step 3, you guys want to isolate the variable. So what I do is I draw a line under the equal sign. Right now I notice I don't have any fractions, so I don't have to worry about fractions. But the variable is on the left side. So my constant on the same side of the variable is the -10. So I'm going to eliminate that constant by doing the opposite. I add 10 to both sides. Once I add 10 to both sides, the 10s, -10 and +10 cancels. You bring down the -4x, and on the right side you're adding 10, so 14 plus 10 will be 24. The next step is you want to get x by itself. So right now the -4 is multiplying the x, so the opposite of multiplication will be division. So you guys are going to divide by -4 on both sides, and when you guys divide, that turns into 1, so x equals -6. You always have to check your signs. You do have a +24 divided by a negative number, -4. That would be -6. 16, same thing. You guys want to get the variable by itself. You guys are solving. So I draw the line under the equal sign. On the left side, that's where the variable is at. I'm going to eliminate the constant that's on the same side of the variable. So right now we have a +6. That's a constant because it doesn't have a letter. So I'm going to do the opposite of plus, that's minus. So you guys subtract 6 from both sides. We know that +6 and -6 cancels. So you bring down the 7x. And on the other side, the -50 minus 6, that's going to be -56. The 2 numbers have the same sign, so you add and keep the sign. And then you guys go back, 7x, that's multiplying 7 times x. So the opposite will be division. Divide by 7 on both sides. So you guys know that when you divide by 7, 7 divided by 7 is 1. So you guys bring down the x, and the other side, -56 divided by +7, that is -8. Positive divided by negative is negative, so the answer is -8. 17, you guys do have a parentheses. Let me draw the equation, the line under the equal sign. The 4 outside of the parentheses, you guys have to distribute. You have to multiply first. So 4 times x, that's going to be 4x. 4 times negative 3, that'll be negative 12. The other side, you just have a 16, so you bring down the 16. You're not going to multiply by 4 because it's on the other side of the equation. So you bring down the 16. So now that you guys distribute it, that means you simplify the left side. You guys are going to cancel the constant that's on the same side of the variable. So we are going to add 12. That's the opposite of minus 12. So you add 12 to both sides. This right here, the negative 12 and the 12 cancels. You bring down the 4x. And the other side, 16 plus 12, that's 28. And one more step, you guys need to get rid of the 4. So you guys divide by 4 on both sides. So this turns into 1. And x will equal 7. 24 divided by, sorry, not 24, 28 divided by 4 will be 7. So there's the answer. Now fractions, a lot of students don't like fractions, but we have a way to get rid of the fractions in order to solve an equation. So when you guys have fractions, you look at the denominators, and right now denominators are different. We have a 4 here and a 2 over here. So when the denominators of the fractions are different, you are going to multiply by the lowest common denominator, LCD, and you have to multiply every single term by the lowest common denominator. So when I look at the 4 and the 2, the lowest common denominator is 4. So I'm going to multiply this by 4, and it is 4 because 4 goes into 4 and 2 goes into 4. But you also have to multiply every single term by 4, so you multiply the 5 by 4 and the other side by 4. When you guys multiply, you have to cross simplify. So when you look at this denominator, the 4 will simplify with this 4, and that's going to turn into 1. We don't need it, so you just bring down the w. And then you guys multiply the minus, careful with the signs. There's a negative 5 times 4. That's going to be negative 20. And the other side, the 2 simplifies to 4, or with the 4, 2 goes into 4 2 times. So you guys cross this one out, and this 4 is going to turn into a 2 because you cross simplify. After you cross simplify, you're going to have to multiply this 2 times the number 3. So 2 times 3 will be 6, and that's going to be on the right side. Now that you guys don't have any fractions, you guys are ready to solve. So you get rid of the constant that's on the same side of the variable. So you add 20 to both sides, add 20 here, and you guys cancel the 20s. So we get w on one side, and the other side, 6 plus 20 is 26. And you guys can write this down as w equals 26. So number 19, you guys need to write the steps to solve. In other words, you guys need to write the sentences in order to know what steps to do when you solve for the variable. So we have the variable m here, 2m minus 4 equals 16. So the first step would be you guys add 4 to both sides. And that's because that is the constant that's on the same side of the variable. So add 4 to both sides here. And then, oops, I forgot the word 2, so I'm going to put here to both sides. Step number 2, after you add 4 to both sides, you guys need to get rid of this number here. So on the side, I'm just going to show you guys what's happening. Let me write down the equation again. And when you guys add 4 to both sides, you guys will get 2m equals, and it's going to be 20 on the right side. So the next step will be you guys divide by 2. So I'm going to write that down. The second step is divide both sides by 2. And that's going to be your last step, because when you divide by 2, you guys will get the answer m equals 10. Now for the midterm, they might not give you guys the answer m equals 10, but you guys need to look for the sides. If they say do the opposite, well, you guys know you have to do the opposite of minus 4. So you add 4. So the opposite of minus 4, add 4 to both sides. And the opposite of multiplying right here, 2 times m, is division. And then you guys divide both sides by 2. And that's how you guys solve the equation to get the variable by itself. Next one is evaluating. You're not solving, but you guys need to substitute and find the value of the expression. So we have a negative 2x squared minus 7x plus 5. and they say x equals -3. So I need to substitute that value, this number x equals -3, into the x in the expression. So we have those x's there. So I'm going to bring down the -2. I'm going to use parentheses, put a -3 here, squared, -7, put another parentheses, and substitute the -3 and the +5. Now, in order to simplify this, you can use PEMDAS, order of operation, or you can use decimals. In decimals, you guys will substitute the -2, parentheses, we have the -3 squared, and we have the -7, parentheses, -3, close parentheses, and you guys will have the last one, +5. So I close parentheses here, +5, and we get an answer of 8. So this simplifies to 8. 21, you guys have the expression 2h plus 5g plus 1, and they say g equals 7 and h equals 2. So I'm going to put g, I'm going to use red, and for h, I'm going to use the color blue. So I have the 2 here, and I substitute h, which is 2, so that's blue. I'm going to have the +5, you substitute g, which is 7, and the +1. So in decimals, you guys can do the same thing. You will have to, so in decimals, you guys are going to have the 2 parentheses, and we have times 2 here, and +5, parentheses times 7, and the last one will be +1, so the answer will be 40. And for 22 and 23, you guys want to write an equation. So let's look at 22. It says the difference of 4 times a number and 14. So we know that the difference means minus. So I have the minus here. And we have 4 times a number. So the number can be any variable. I'm just going to use x for the number, and 14. So I'm going to put 4 times x, or 4x minus 14. And that is your equation. So this here is not an equation. Let me cross this out. By mistake, I put the word equation. We don't have an equal sign. So we are going to have an expression here. And you guys just need to write down the variables with the numbers. So don't worry about the equal sign. It is an expression. Number 23, it says 7 less than the product of 9 and x. So first of all, we have to remember what is less than. And in writing the expression, less than means you guys are going to subtract. So when you guys subtract the word, you have to be careful with the word then, because that word tells you guys to actually change the order. So even though the 7 is first, you can put the 7 after the minus. So I'm going to put the 7 here. And before the minus, we are going to put the product of 9 and x. We know product means multiplication. So 9 times x will be 9x. But remember that the word less than, this word then, will tell you guys to switch the order. So that's why I put the 7 after the minus. And the 9x, you multiply, that's the product, before the minus, because you guys, again, change the order. So this concludes my video. Make sure you guys practice, guys. We have the midterm on Thursday. I'll see you guys later.